There's nothing that's truly passive unless you're part of the lucky sperm club. And then you just inherit money maybe, but you probably still have to like listen to some stories you don't want to hear and maybe like go to some family functions that aren't always the best to get that. There's some, it's not purely passive. Economic independence comes from one of two sources: investment income, which what if your mindset in investing shifted to purely you only invest for cash flow purposes until you reach economic independence, and any other investment outside of that isn't worth your time unless it's your business? Okay? See, there's so many distractions that are gift wrapped that look like opportunities. Cryptocurrency, real estate deals that are complicated that you don't understand, tax liens, stock options, I could go on, oil and gas, whatever it is. And if you don't understand it, and you don't know it, it's not an investment, it's a gamble. And the problem is there's too many people suffering from health issues in this world for you to gamble with your money, because it requires money to really make a major impact, because you have to hire people, you have to take care of yourself, you have to enjoy life along the way. And if you don't have money, then there's a lot of stress, unfortunately, or you can't hire the right people, you can't invest into marketing, you can't do the things that really can make an extraordinary impact. So the second thing that creates economic independence is entrepreneurial-based income. Entrepreneurial-based income is not the income when you're with a patient. It's the income that comes in even if you're not in the office. So I don't use the word passive income. Some financial people do, and I guess we do a little bit just to keep it simple in 5-day weekend, but we have something called a passive income index, which says there's nothing that's truly passive unless you're part of the lucky sperm club. And then you just inherit money maybe, but you probably still have to like listen to some stories you don't want to hear and maybe like go to some family functions that aren't always the best to get that. There's some, it's not purely passive. But recurring revenue is more about cash flow that you still pay attention to, that you're still responsible for. It's just that you're not on a moment by moment, day by day basis having to do something to have that come in. So it has some leverage, it has some scale. So entrepreneurial income and investment income, if that can start covering your basic expenses, you have this amazing advantage. Like there's one of my early mentors has a podcast called 10 Times, Dan Sullivan. I know there's someone sent me a 10 Times book that I never read by Cardone. There's all this kind of 10 times talk out there. And I think it's awesome to have 10 times thinking. But I'm just going to give you the practical way to get to 10 times. Because you can take 10% of your income and try to earn 10%, so now you're getting a fraction of a fraction, and they're going to tell you it's going to take 30 years, and the only time you know that doesn't work out is when you get to the end of the rainbow, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this sucks, the market didn't cooperate, or there were a lot of hidden fees that I didn't recognize, or I didn't save as much as I thought I thought I needed to save less, but it looks like I need to save more. And then what's just so smug and stupid, I'm on one this morning, I could already feel it, is that there's these financial people, they'll be like, how much money do you think you need in the future? Do we really have any freaking clue? Like, how do we know? Like, if I interview people in the 80s, I was really young at the time, but if I interviewed people in the 80s and I was like, how much money would be good to have in retirement? The most common answer would be $200,000 or $250,000 in a retirement plan. What the hell is that going to do for you now? Nothing. So let's forget this notion of how much you need in the future, and let's start thinking from optimization, maximum output, the very best that you can do, as much as possible within legal, boundaries, essentially. That's the better way to focus on it. Unfortunately, there's no magic pill out there or magic product. So there's no financial product that you guys can just go buy and you're wealthy. If there were, I wouldn't have this job, I guess. I'd be doing something else. Maybe I'd be a doctor. I didn't go to nearly as much school as you guys did. And my son would be much more proud of me. When I'm flying him somewhere, he's like, we're in his bathroom one morning, we're talking to him, giving him supplements, and he's like, Dad, I'm like, oh yeah, what son? Why aren't you a doctor? Buddy, I help doctors out. That's what I do. I help the doctors so they can help more people. He's like, be nice if you're a doctor. This kid, like the young one, will like tell you jokes and kind of burn you in a fun way, you know, no scars from it. My 13-year-old will say stuff that it scars your soul for the rest of your life. You're like, dude, that's, and he just goes matter of fact back to brushing his teeth, you know, like, what? I'm just saying. So, I should have brought him this morning that you guys could tell him that I'm helping you out. So, so economic independence is this 10 times factor because it means that all of your lifestyle and living expenses, you don't have to work for. You just have to monitor and manage to maintain that. So imagine what can happen if 100% of your active income could be reinvested into your vision, into the right people for your practice, into the right processes for you to make it more efficient, into the right technology to get even more leverage and advancement. That's a 10 times advantage. Because everyone else still has that mindset of only having a certain amount of money that they can afford because of scarcity on what they invest in their practice. This is a plague throughout the health practitioners that I see, where they don't hire the very, very best because they hire someone that's less expensive, yet the less expensive person produces, according to Steve Jobs, 1/100th of the very best. He said that that was his number one advantage in the world, is that he would just hire the very best and they would outproduce the second best 100 times. And he said nowhere else could you find that kind of return. Or IBM did a study and said it was 5,200% that the A-teamers outproduced the B-teamers. So when I'm talking about investment, we're not talking stocks and bonds today. We're talking ideas and people, and we're talking about ways that you can put money into the things that you know and understand that are meaningful to you in funding your vision so that you increase your output, which is all about expanding your means. I'm not here to preach living within your means. Yes, live within them, but not by cutting back and having a reductionist thought process. Instead, have an expansive thought process that says, if you want more in the future, it's in direct proportion to the problems you solve, the people you serve, and the value you deliver. I'm going to pause on that for a second, which is not my nature. Faster than anyone could keep up with. So you have to hire us. No. I don't know why I talk so fast. It's just, I get passionate. It feels angry at times, but it's just passion. You're not in trouble. So this is an expansion conversation. But in order to expand your means, you're here in the right room to do that, with the right people to do that. So that's not going to be my primary consideration and conversation. I'm just creating that context and giving that permission, not that you need it from me, but just so you could scrub out any of that other thinking that when you hear finance, that it's synonymous with stock market investing, cutting back, and waiting for long periods of time. Instead, I'm going to focus on efficiency. I'm going to focus on how you can live within your means by actually increasing what you spend on the things you enjoy, because we reclaim the cash that's rightfully yours from the IRS, from interest overpayments and banks and institutions, from investment companies and the fees that you pay there, and insurance companies where there's, I know you guys probably love insurance companies and enjoy giving them your money, but I'm going to show you how to give them less and still transfer your risk. So we cool with all that so far? Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, Ron, give me a 15-minute warning when I got 15 minutes left. So you guys just get to see whatever's in my head. Conversation about my son, here you go. But the good thing is most of it's financially related and will be applicable to helping you. I've been doing a lot of talking this week, so excuse me for the break for water here. Is water's still good, right? Because I'm just confused about it. I mean, there's probably fluoride in it. It's probably killing my kidneys. I feel like I try not to fall too much in love with any one food because I might find out one day that it's not good for me. But my son will go to his grave that bacon is the best food for you. Of course. For you. It's important.
Want to master your money? Want to figure out the things that you could do to improve your finances? Click here and check out more videos like this on Money Matters.